I appreciate you guys for coming back. Let's do a little bit of Q&A. For those of you guys who have no idea who I am, my name is Stacey Flowers. I'm on a journey to become 100% debt-free. I am a student of Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University, and this is the Q&A following me doing my budget live for the month of December. So if you have any questions as it relates to my budget and whatnot, just ask them. I'm going to go over some of the questions that you guys had in the previous live, but feel free to ask me any questions here, and I'll just hang out for a little bit. Nurse Joy said, what do you mean you pay your rent a month in advance? Like, I mean, like my rent is paid a month in advance. So like the rent that I'm gonna be paying, so like today we're in November, right? So I just paid rent like on the 26th. Is today the 26th? 25th? I pay rent on the 25th, but that'll be actually rent for January because I'm a month ahead. So even I still pay it as if it's the current like rent that's due, but I just did my finances in such a way that I put myself a month ahead just because I wanted to be a little bit more secure. I don't know if that's a habit from just like securing my four walls, or if that's something that maybe I unconsciously did because I'm an entrepreneur and my income can be irregular. I'm not really for sure, but I just got it to the place where everything is just a month in advance, if you will. Annie A said, hi Stacey, you're doing really well. However, I must ask, are you going to do more grocery budget shopping soon? Yes, I intend to. There have been a lot of changes in my life, and as a result of those changes, some good, some not so good, my diet has changed considerably. So like, you know, with training changed my diet, but also with traveling. So I think it was October. It was like September and October were my highest traveling months. Like I think, or maybe November. Wait, what's this month? This is November. No. Yeah. So September and October were my highest traveling month. Like in October, I think I was home for maybe like 4 days, 5, 6 days out of the like whole entire month. And so when it comes to like grocery shopping and planning and thinking through all of that stuff, it was super simplified before because obviously I had a very light budget and I was able to eat lighter because my body wasn't dependent on the calories because I wasn't working out my body. But the combination of needing to think through my calories, but also needing to think through, because you know I buy a lot of my food fresh, but if I'm gonna be gone for like 10 days with like 1 day here, it doesn't really make sense to go to the grocery store because there's no way I'm gonna consume this fresh food in the 24-hour downtime that I am between flights, kind of a thing. So I say all that to say it just became from, and then even because I think I first traveling kind of started in June. I think that's when I went to Rwanda, and then basically it's just been a lot of traveling. So between traveling and eating for fitness, like I haven't really been doing grocery hauls because it hasn't made sense for me to go to the store and buy like that. The only reason I filled up my pantry at the beginning of this month is because I wanted to consume healthier foods because I also wasn't eating very healthy, and I wasn't eating very healthy not as it relates to travel or training, but just personal stuff. And so I wanted to make sure that I ate healthy, which is the reason why I filled up my pantry. But now that my pantry is like super stocked, like even if I were to go to the store now, there would be nothing to get. Like if I showed you like my containers in the cabinet, like they're all you know, full. So probably by January, like there should be a solid grocery haul. Maybe I'll do a grocery haul when my son comes so you guys can kind of see the food that we get. But I just feel like the last 2 quarters of the year, there's been such a drastic lifestyle change that even I wasn't, like, obviously I can see the dates on my calendar and I can see where I'm going, but like I hadn't actually like adjusted to, well, if you're not home, who's gonna eat this food? And you know, like, and if you buy it, then what money are you going to spend when you're away? And like, thankfully, obviously when I'm away, I can use my business budget, but traveling is a lifestyle addition that I did not take into consideration. Much like when I first started at the gym, like I didn't realize how dramatically that was going to impact my food budget. But like the gym and traveling, it just, you know, hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, I don't know, you know, kind of a thing. But I think that 2020 I'll be much more focused, because I've had time these couple of months to kind of see what was happening, what was going on, what my body responds to, what I need to do to be a better traveler, because I'm not an awesome traveler. I like traveling, but I'm not an awesome traveler. And you listen, with the amount of travel that I'm doing, you need to be an awesome traveler. So that's goals for 2020, to become a better traveler. So I hope that answers your question. Ashley said, don't print on both sides of the paper. That's where it's coming, some of the confusion. I agree. So in 2020, they should all be on single sides. And it'll also give me room to be able to take notes and stuff like that on the back. But I 100% agree, because I was missing stuff because I just had to flip the page over. Makeup with Shayna said, what if a person can't afford to pay off her debt, like literally can't put nothing towards it? What should a person do in that particular situation? So that's where I was for the entire first year. You still need to do a budget before the month begins. If you go to my Instagram right now, I show you what I did in 2018 versus what I did in 2019. And you'll see, like, the first couple of months, there was 0. I think there was a month where I put 30. There was a month where I put like 55. The idea is that even if you can't put money towards your debt, what you want to learn right now is how to budget. Because if you can figure out how to budget, if you can master that skill, when you actually start making money, you will actually put money towards debt. The trouble is that most people wait until they're making a lot of money to try to learn how to budget, but paying off debt and budgeting are two different skills. And if you have it in your lifetime right now to learn them separately, I think that that's best. I think that one of the reasons, I mean, obviously my income increased, but one of the reasons why I was able to actually put so much towards debt is because I spent a year learning how to budget. I spent a year learning how to manage my money. Once you know how to manage your money, when more money comes in, you know what to do with it. Like even just where you just saw me do this budget here, and I'm like, yeah, I have $572 left. Like my immediate reaction wasn't like, free money. I was just like, yeah, guys, you think I should put that towards my debt? Like I'm so trained to put it on debt because I've been doing it for so long that it happens. So that is hands down what I would recommend that you do. Still do a budget every single month so you can learn how to budget. And do a zero-based budget, because there are other budgeting forms out there, and I think that there's no better budget than the zero-based budget, because it will let you know how much more money you need to make. It will let you know what you can actually do with your money and what you can't do with your money. And when you honor it, it'll change your whole life. Ashley S said, may I suggest something that will help you out in the future? Absolutely. Ashley, we're rooting for you. Thank you. Ashley S, when you keep running into the same issue, start over. It's important to get it right than to get it done. Oh, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, that's why I went back to find that dollar. Like, this is the thing, like, I've been doing this budget now for 25 months. And what I know for sure, I'm gonna put in my Oprah, what I know for sure is that cutting corners on budgeting, like, you'll notice that, like, I don't round up, and I don't say, oh, I'll figure that out later and fill it back in, because all of that corner cutting, it's like, this is the time when you budget, so this is the time when you're going to do it. You're not going to do it later. You're not going to do it. No, you're going to do it now, because you're budgeting now, and it's like giving my brain the focus to do that. Hey, how are you? I miss you too. Like, I miss you so much. I don't know if you got any of my emails, but yes, I miss you too. But it gives your brain something to focus on. And it's just like, so many people want to get it done, but they don't want to do it right. And it's just like, if you watch my budgeting videos from the beginning, I wasn't getting it right in the sense that I was doing the form right because I didn't know how to do it, but I was doing it right to the best of my understanding at the time. And the more I learned, the better and better and better I got. And a lot of that is just because you guys in the community pushed back and was like, oh, you didn't do that right. And so then I was like, oh, if that's not right, let me try to do it this way. Let me try to do it this way. And I would stay in this live for, I think my longest live video was like 3 hours, and I was probably budgeting like $1,400. Right? Like, but that was because getting it done right was more important than getting it done, especially when it comes to your numbers, because when you can figure it out, I mean, amazing things can happen. Makeup by Shayna said, okay, I'll be emailing you tomorrow. Okay, perfect. Let's see. Eliza said, did you approximate the debt repayment minimums on your monthly? Okay, yeah, I answered that one. Feezy said the dollar off would drive me mad. Yeah, yes, yes. Jennifer Cullen said, are you going to give yourself any money for New Year's? Yes, but that's when I'm doing my January budget, which will be at the end of December, that's when I'll give myself some money for New Year's. But that's a great point. This is the reason why you do a budget every single month, because every single month is different. And a lot of people will do that. They'll be like, oh, December is coming up, but because New Year's is on the 1st, let me go ahead and add it to this budget. But for me, it's like, no, this is money that I'm spending in December, money that I'm spending in January. Even if it's January 1st, it's going to be that. And as far as like New Year's Eve, if I do something, it'll be going to like a friend's house to hang out with them. It won't be to like go out and do anything where it's going to cost me any money, because the focused, listen, this debt snowball is rolling, okay? The focus is to pay off this debt, okay? That is the focus. It's always been the focus. Well, no, first year it was to get on the plan and restore my financial dignity. This year it was very much, you know, debt focused, but it's just like, listen, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's scary, amazing, and I want to get there. So let's see. Pamela Blackstone says, somebody paid me back a loan and I took the money and paid off small bills. That's awesome. Eliza said, are these sheets from Dave's Ramsey online, or is it part of the paid total money makeover, the academy thing? They're available online, but they're also in all of his paid programs, because these forms match his budgeting philosophy. PY Texan said, do you do your own nails? They look good. Yes, I do my own nails. There was a video though where I had an actual manicure that was done, which was just a gift, like I got a manicure. But normally like these, I just did these myself. But thank you. Plan, Play, Eat, Love said, I had the privilege of hearing you speak at the planner retreat. It was phenomenal and let me know to keep going. Thank you for sharing and being determined. You are so very welcome. She also said, thank you for sharing, starting with what you earn, then subtracting. It's a simple concept, but was thinking backwards. Yeah. Starting with your income and then subtracting will change the game. The reason that people use credit is because they start with their expenses and then they add it all up and then they subtract their income and they're like, oh man, I have this other stuff left over. Like, how am I going to pay for this? Might as well use credit. Versus I'm going to start with my income and see what my income can actually afford and then make the tough decisions to let some stuff go. That's why people don't ever know what they need to cut out, because they don't start with how much they make. They start with, well, what do I want? And then how am I going to make that happen? And it's usually with credit. Let's see. Eliza said, how do you tell what money in your saving account is for what funds? Is it all in one place? Do you have a worksheet for that, or like an app? I just put it in envelopes. So like my dental vision is in an envelope. My decorating is in an envelope. I have a little bit of like dangling funds from I don't have my envelopes over here, but like I have a little bit of like dangling funds from like just things that I didn't end up spending, which the dangling, I'm probably just going to like put that just towards like a little lump sum towards debt, or maybe if there's another cost or something associated with my dental or my vision, maybe I'll put it towards that. But I'll like, when I'm in my mind right now, because I'm not, and this is something I'm going to be focused on. Okay, let me be honest. So in 2020, yes, I'm going to be focused on paying off debt. That is the #1 aim. But goal-wise, I want to master the skill of savings, because I am not a saver naturally. And so right now, because I'm not great at savings, like when I'm doing a sinking fund, like I just go get the cash and put it in an envelope and just like hide it from myself, basically. Because if I leave it in my checking or if I leave it in my savings, I'm gonna spend it. If it's over the $1,000, I'm gonna spend it. Like even the little interest that I have over my $1,000, I'm like, I should spend this because Dave Ramsey said you're only supposed to keep $1,000 in here. Like, but it's just like, no, Stacey, let that little interest accumulate. So yeah. Trying to see. Laura Wilcox said, any college plan for your son? Has he learned anything by watching your journey? Yeah, it's very interesting. I think we're gonna do a video where he talks about like what he learned from me about money very candidly. Both me and his father are entrepreneurs, so it'll be really interesting. My son is probably gonna be like this super conservative, like, you know, never, like, he doesn't act like that now, but when I think about him as like a husband and a father, like I think about him like rebelling against like his parents being these like ridiculous risk takers who like had these feast or famine cycles in their finances. But I haven't seen enough of him having his own money. Like with his job, he was very conservative. Like he was like, this is for taxes, this is for my savings, this is for clothes. Like he was very much like, this is what I'm spending this stuff on. So I don't know. I can't see his sort of way just yet, but it'll be really interesting to see. But I'm thinking about doing like a candid video where we just interview each other and he just talks about some of the stuff that he learned from me as it relates to this journey. Like I know that he was adamant about getting a full ride scholarship because he was just like, based off of you being in student loan debt, I would never do that to myself. So at this time he still has, he has a couple of full ride scholarships, maybe like 5 full ride scholarships that he can choose from. So as far as college is concerned, there won't be any debt there. And anytime if credit does come up, he's just like, I'm never getting a credit card, it's useless. So I feel like some of my ways have sunk in, but you know, his father isn't somebody who totally subscribes to the no debt, no credit, and especially neither of his grandmothers are either. His grandmothers are like, listen, if you don't get your credit together, life is not going to turn out well for you. And I'm like, don't listen to your grandmas. So yeah, let's see, do we have any more questions? Oh, Justine said, I paid off my final 2 credit cards today. Whoop whoop, congratulations. Going into 2020 credit card debt free. I'm so happy for you. We must celebrate. Erica Hines said, I'm just about to start this journey in 2020. I'm nervous where to start. Like you were financially when you started. My finances are very limited. At one time I was keeping up with your journey. So yeah, I wouldn't even wait to 2020. I would start right now. So there's about 4 or 5 more days in this year. I would do a budget right now for December. Just start right now. And you're gonna be nervous and you're gonna make mistakes, but that's how you learn. Like I'm a very different budgeter now than I was when I first started doing this budget. And just keep at it, stay consistent. Unique said, any advice for getting back on board after falling off? Forgive yourself and then get right back up and start fresh the next month. The reason I love doing a budget every single month is that every month is a do-over. Like, yes, they add up, but ultimately each month stands alone. Like I could have like you guys remember last year where I had that, like, it was like May or something like that. I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. And then I was like, okay, you got to process these feelings because you can't just be sabotaging your budget. Like every month you get a fresh start. So take your fresh start every month. But I think that in order to really allow yourself to take that fresh start, you're gonna have to forgive yourself. Like I do not beat myself up when I don't do awesome things financially. Like, so my income, my income this month, this is November, was $5,000. My income last month was $10,000, and my income in December is $10,000. I'm not beating myself up for my income dropping to $5,000, and I get that those numbers are still high relative to where it was, but technically that's a $5,000 drop. That's a $5,000 mistake, right? But I'm not gonna beat myself up for that. I'm just gonna be like, you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna budget, you're gonna pay your minimums this month, and you're gonna get yourself together so you can make some money next month. Then Yeah, so but you have to forgive whatever the thing is, and I think also you have to look at it and figure out what it is. What was the mistake that you made? How did you fall off? Did you fall off because you were emotionally overwhelmed? So like for example, like I've been super duper emotional these last couple of months, and so in an effort to make sure that didn't affect my budget, like I'm limiting the amount of activities that I'm participating in with respect to like just anything, because I'm so overwhelmed emotionally, it's more likely that I might, like, I don't know, I was about to say go buy a yacht. No, go buy like a bunch of clothes, or like, when I'm buying food, like buy incredibly far outside of my budget. So it's just like, did you fall off because you got emotionally overwhelmed because something happened? Did you fall off because you completely forgot about an expense? Did you fall off because there was an unexpected family, something that like, what is the reason why you fell off? Evaluating that, and then building in things to protect yourself so you don't do that in the next coming month. And you will see me the reason I do the budget report cards is so that I can check in with myself and be like, okay, Stacey, think about this month. What went right? What didn't go right? Because the idea is, if I can bring to mind the things that made this month go well, if I check in every month, then I can turn those into habits. And that's what we have to do. When we fall off, it's just a habit of falling off. Let's see. Okay. Haley said a lot of people will add the sinking fund to their income and then budget the item out of their sinking fund. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, that looks like that is all the questions. From there, I'm gonna go see if there are more questions in the new chat, and if not, I will pop off, and we can go to bed because it is late and I will be traveling tomorrow. No thing. How much income a year do you think is good to live life comfortably? I think it's relative to where you live and what your expenses and your needs are. I lived, and I think everybody's definition of comfort is very different. People probably think right now my income is an excessive income. But even in my income being as high as it is, I think that I live comfortably. Like, I don't think I live excessively or even live to the reflection of my income, if you will. So I think that comfort is relative and income a year is just relative. It really, to be perfectly honest, it doesn't matter how much money you make. What matters is how well you manage the money you make, because you can make $100,000 a year and be living like you make below the poverty line. So if you don't know how to manage it. Tierra Love said, any advice for someone not good with money that will get a big sum of money from a family death? Yes, to sit down and pre-decide before you get that money. Sit down and pre-decide what you're going to do with that money. Also, if everybody in the family knows that you're going to get this money, pre-decide not to cash the check for a month or 60 days or something. Well, they usually expire in 60 days, but pre-decide to not cash the check within the first month of getting it. And the reason for that is because you are going to be so flooded with emotions, and everybody in the family is going to be so flooded with emotions, that suddenly everybody's problem is going to be only you can solve it because you're the one with the money and it's not going to be because they're horrible people. It's going to be because people are ridiculous with money when they are emotional, and there's nothing that makes you more emotional than death of someone. And it doesn't matter if this person was here for a long time or a short time. So the longer you can separate yourself from the money, the more you'll be able to give yourself a gap of space to be able to respond logically instead of emotionally to people who are going to come to you and say that they would love to have some money from you. But also, if you know what the amount is, like if you knew you were about to get $50,000, I would sit down today and say, in 2 weeks, you're going to get $50,000. What are you going to do with that $50,000? And write everything down until it's a zero-based budget. Even if that means you say, I'm going to put $40,000 in savings. Write that down and get it to equal zero. And then when you cash the check, only do what you wrote down. If you did not write it down, do not allow yourself to do it. And I don't care how much money it is. I don't care how much you can afford it, because if you spend outside of what you wrote down, you will be spending emotionally. And you'll be spending emotionally because this money is coming from the loss of a human life. That's intense. It's one of the most intense experiences you will ever go through, and it is very hard not to spend emotionally. So if say for example, if somebody was going to give me $50,000, I probably would be like, okay, 55,000 I'm just going to put right onto my debt. I'm going to take 1,000 and let myself spend that emotionally. I'll take another 1,000 and, you know, upgrade anything that I need to upgrade in my, like, you know what I mean? Like, I would literally write that down. And if I needed a budget to spend frivolously, I would be like, this is your $1,000, spend frivolously, whatever it is that you want to do. But you got to tell yourself that ahead of time. Write it down, so when the emotions are flooding you, this piece of paper is guiding you, because your brain is going to be like, girl, do what you want, you rich, you know. And you're going to be conflicted potentially depending on who the person is. And what happens with inheritance money is the minute you rip the Band-Aid off, so the minute you do the first purchase, all of the feelings that you either had for the person, weren't able to access during the grieving funeral time, they are gonna hit you when you rip that Band-Aid off and you finally start spending that money. And it's gonna be the most overwhelming experience that you've ever had in your entire life. So that would be my advice. Ashley said, are you gonna do Vlogmas? I don't think I have the capacity for that. I would love to, but I don't think I have the capacity for that. But we will see. I can't say no at this time. I would love to. I want to. Angela said, great advice. Are you still coaching? Yes, I'm still coaching. I just don't have any available coaching slots right now. Ashley said, how are you going to be present in 2020? When you say present, I'm assuming just more like visible is what you mean. So Stacey Flowers morning show should be coming back, podcast, regular posting on YouTube. But I am doing a lot more traveling in 2020 for speaking. So yeah. One Jennifer 89 said, just want to say you're such an inspiration for me. I also have an autoimmune disease and the desire the exact same career, financial and health goals. I am honored to be an inspiration. Tierra Love, will you do more food videos in the future? Yes. Emily, great to see you also. Griffy Girl TKD, I think is what that is. How much debt do you have left that you need to pay off? A lot. But I have a video coming up with detail to explain it. Are you still in Chicago? Yes. Candace Hood, what happened to Vlogtober? I was not in anybody's emotional space to be on the internet talking about anything in the month of October. So I took it down. Yeah. Jennifer, hey Stacey, can you tell us about the blue tape on the walls? Does it have something to do with the goals? Oh no, I'm doing gallery wall. So those are just the outlines of the frames, and I'm just trying to figure out what images I'm gonna put in them. So it's for a gallery wall in my hallway. Angela Goodwin said, what is your cell phone carrier? How do you get your bill so low? My cell phone carrier is Virgin Mobile. It is a prepaid cell phone. And I think it's just super low because Virgin Mobile is a prepaid cell phone provider. And so Richard Branson is very into being cost effective about a lot of different things. So, and actually the reason why I chose that prepaid plan over all the other prepaid plans is because Richard Branson is a billionaire, and I'm like, you know, I'm gonna be a billionaire one day. So let me go ahead and get the phone that this billionaire, like, not saying that he uses Virgin, I'm assuming that he does because he tends to use his products. But I wanted to be in alignment with Richard Branson. Ashley S, do you like your new apartment? It's the same apartment, but I do, as I'm decorating it more, it is more homey, and I do feel more restored and rested while I am here. So yes, I do love being at home, and that's becoming a thing. So That is all that I have for you, amazing, super fantastic, incredible people. I deeply appreciate you all for supporting my work. You have no idea what it means, especially this year. This has been a very challenging year, and it's not just challenging just because of the obvious challenges. Like, it has been challenging to grow as rapidly as I'm growing, and not have language for it and not have understanding around it. And you guys have been so kind and so patient, and I really appreciate you guys giving me the space to wrap my mind around the things that you guys are witnessing, that you get that I'm experiencing. And I think there was someone from the community, but I actually met her at the Planning a Better Me retreat, and she was just like, you know, you're going from living your life on autopilot to actually flying your own plane, because you can, like, and there's going to be some turbulence between, you know, shutting off autopilot and actually flying the plane. And I was just like, I think that that is a really beautiful analogy for like what it feels like. It's like there was an aspect of my life that was on autopilot, some of it due to sickness, some of it due to the fact that I just couldn't afford to be piloting my own plane. Like, I just didn't have the resources to be able to do that. And so I was in this autopilot space, and just no longer going on autopilot and realizing that I get to steer this plane anywhere I wanted to go has been the most mind-boggling experience in all the land. And I think that you guys have been just so kind and so patient and so generous with me as I figure that out and evolve right in front of you guys. So I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you so much for continuing to support me, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Enjoy your holiday.